Okay, something a bit different today. I've just restored the yellowed headlights on a family member's camper van. Going to surprise them for their birthday. Basically, I looked around at products, kept on coming back to the Meguiars, however you pronounce it, but I'm going to call it Meguiars because that works. So this kit here it's usually 80 bucks. Doesn't come for a lot for 80 bucks. Comes with two of these pads, the cleaning solution. So technically that would be an abrasive. I think it said it had silica or something in it. So that's your sanding basically, and then there's your clear coat, so a UV coating, what will prevent them yellowing again. It claims that it'll keep them clear for a year. Even if they get a couple of years out of it, it's got to be better than the real yellow that they were. So my thoughts were they were quite bad. So I didn't like the idea of like I used to work in manufacturing, sheet metal and stuff. I didn't like the idea of this is basically just a Scotch-Brite. I didn't want to, spend an hour polishing each light just with this cutting solution, like the cleaning solution. I'd be there all day. So this kit would be amazing if it came with a couple of extra pieces. So I've hopped down I got this from Repco. It was on special for 59 bucks. I think Super Cheap stocks it as well for 80 bucks. Yeah, Repco usually has it for 80 bucks. Now what this kit would be ideal if it came with some 600 grit, wet and dry. You buy it in a roll like that from Bunnings, a metre roll for about $2.80 I think it was. And also, so you start with your 600, your 600's a coarser grit, and then finish off with your 1200. Okay. What I also did, I grabbed one of these squishy sanding blocks so I could cut a piece, and just wrap it around the block, and then that gives me a nice base to hold on to do, the majority of the sanding on the light. Now what was I going to say? Yeah, so the point of this video is to say, yeah, good product, but I think just spend that extra 10 bucks. Oh yeah, you need painter's tape too. So anyways, go spend your extra 10 bucks, 12 bucks I think it was, something like that. Get your 600, at least get the 600 and the 1200. You don't have to have that. You could kind of get away with not having that, but you'd have to be a bit more careful when you're painting and sanding. Okay, another thing I recommend you have is Metho, to do a final clean at the end before you do the painting. Your painting job's only as good as your preparation. There's no point in going to the trouble to seal it if you've still got residue on there, because it's just going to seal in, the crap that you've left on there. So I actually used some of these cloths. My final preparation, I washed it down, and we're getting a bit carried away here. Okay, I'll get back to the sanding. So start with the 600. Just use a bucket, with a bit of soapy water in there, or just water. So when you're sanding, keep it wet. It helps the particles flow, like when you're sharpening a knife. You want the little bits of grit to be able to flow away. So spend about 10 minutes with your 600, and then spend about 10 minutes with your 1200. And then in the kit, you could probably seal it there and then with a 1200, but I like the idea. I bought the kit, so then I didn't use much of this at all. There's probably enough for 10 treatments or more in there. I only used a 10-cent piece size to do the whole headlight. So you just squirt a piece in the middle there, polish the headlight for maybe another 10 minutes, even 5 minutes if you're feeling lazy. But I think if the job's worth doing, it's worth doing well. So yeah, so your 600, 10 minutes, 1200 10 minutes using water. Give it a bit of a wash it off, then hit it with this for 10 minutes say, and then wash the light off good. And what I did one at a time, so it gave me drying time on the first light, because it's no good washing something and then painting it a minute later. You want to let it sit there for half an hour or so to get any extra drops of water out. You know, you could paint it and then all of a sudden one drop of water just goes splash in the middle of your paint job. So that's the reason I recommend just doing one at a time. Back to the finishing off. Okay, so once you've done this final treatment, you know, you've done your 10 minutes on this, 5-10 minutes, then give it a good wash with soapy water again. You know, these cost 10 cents each or something. Use a few of them. So give it a scrub, and then get one of these bad boys here. Maybe let it sit for 5 minutes, a couple minutes. Then get this bad boy here, that's just spirits. Get a cloth, give the light a bit of a scrub. You'll see a bit of residue, like the fine particles still on the light. So then give it another wipe. You know, I did mine 3 times because I could see residue. You know, the more I did it, I could see improving each wipe. So I recommend doing it 3 times with a clean cloth at the end. Then let it sit about 5 minutes, and now you're ready to paint. Okay, so just follow the instructions for painting. Don't go over the top. You're better off doing, I think it said do one coat and then come back 5 minutes later and do another coat, but I did a light coat first, waited 5 minutes, did another light coat, waited 5 minutes and did another light coat. So alright, so here's the results. So they look amazing. They were yellow before, like, well, I don't have fancy editing software, so I'll just do one take videos on my phone, so you've got nothing to compare it to, but trust me, that was yellow. I suppose it's a, I don't know, 20-year-old Mercedes camper van. Anyways, well, that's the result. That is my tips. You know, your painting job is only as good as your preparation and your time you put into it. So if the job's worth doing, it's worth doing well. Alright, thanks for watching. Hopefully someone will get some use out of that. Cheers.